The Gospel reading for the first Sunday of Advent each year is a portion of what is called the Little Apocalypse. Each year we read the same story, but each year from a different Gospel account. In year A, it is from the Gospel according to Matthew. And each year, the point of the lessons for the first Sunday of Advent is to focus our hearts on the future, in this case, on the coming of God's kingdom into our world, so that we might be prepared. Hello, I'm Stuart Baskin, pastor of First Presbyterian Church of Tyler, Texas. From our adventures through the Revelation to John, we know a little bit about what the word apocalypse means. Although it has often come to mean end of the world stuff in the popular imagination, we know that it has more to do with a revealing of the divine plan for the world, or as I frequently call it, a pulling aside of the curtain to see what's really going on in a way that's usually hidden from mortal eyes. It also refers to a type of literature found throughout the Bible, of which John's Revelation is only one example. Characteristics of this kind of literature include a revealing of the ultimate destiny of the world, a focus on dualism, that is, on a clear demarcation between good and evil, between God and Satan, between the forces of light and the forces of darkness. And it frequently includes quite vivid imagery, which often leaves us feeling unsettled, even afraid. But the real purpose of apocalyptic literature isn't to strike fear, but to stiffen resolve, to encourage the faithful to stand firm even when the powers of darkness seem to be overwhelming us. Which brings us to today's reading from Matthew. Jesus and his disciples have been in the temple in Jerusalem, where Jesus has been teaching and where he has had confrontations with the religious authorities. This is after his triumphal entry into Jerusalem that we celebrate on Palm Sunday, and shortly before his arrest and crucifixion. Now he and his disciples have left the temple, and he begins to tell them everything that is to take place. After he tells them about the signs that will precede his return, he adds this warning. But about that day and hour, no one knows. Neither the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but only the Father. For as the days of Noah were, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For as in those days before the flood they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day Noah entered the ark, and they knew nothing until the flood came and swept them all away, so too will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then two will be in the field. One will be taken, and one will be left. Two women will be grinding meal together. One will be taken, and one will be left. Keep awake, therefore, for you do not know what day your Lord is coming. But understand this, if the owner of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore you also must be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an unexpected hour. There are two things to notice here. First, in spite of the fact that there will be signs, no one but the Father knows their timing, not even Jesus himself. The point is to encourage the disciples to be on a sort of ready alert status. It is also to encourage us to do exactly the same. All we have is the promise that Christ will return and that God will reveal his kingdom on earth. We have no idea when or where or how, and anyone who presumes to know clearly does not know what he's talking about. The point is simply to be prepared at all times. The second thing to notice is the idea that some will be taken and some will be left. I know that in the popular imagination, based in part on the Left Behind series of books, people believe that those who are taken up into heaven. But that's not what this says. Quite the opposite, in fact. Notice the comparison Jesus makes. In the days of Noah, some were taken and some were left. The ones who were taken were the ones who died in the flood, while the ones who were left behind were the survivors on Noah's ark. This coincides with the revelation to John, where the New Jerusalem comes down out of heaven to us. We're not going to be snatched away. God's kingdom will come to us. It's all about being prepared, and it is preparation for life in the kingdom, a kingdom that will come to earth. Tomorrow, we'll look at the Old Testament passage from year B in the lectionary cycle for this first Sunday of Advent. Once again, it is a familiar passage from Isaiah. But for now, may God continue to bless you and keep you in all that you do this day and in all the days ahead.